Good evening and welcome to Metro Focus. I'm Rafael P. Roman. State lawmakers are taking a hard look at housing discrimination on Long Island. The scrutiny comes after a Newsday special investigation that found evidence of widespread unequal treatment of potential home buyers on the part of real estate agents, an investigation we featured here on Metro Focus yesterday. The 3-year expose used undercover testers to record interactions between home buyers and agents, found that agents frequently steered minority home buyers towards integrated neighborhoods while steering white home buyers towards predominantly white neighborhoods. As a result of the expose, the state Senate, the state attorney general, and the governor have all ordered probes into reports of housing discrimination. And the executives for Nassau and Suffolk counties have both announced their own plans to combat the problem. And joining us now to talk about the findings of the Newsday investigation and what needs to happen next is Elaine Gross. She is the founder and president of Erase Racism, a civil rights advocacy group based on Long Island that addresses the impact of structural racism in housing and public education. Elaine, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
First of all, was there anything in the Newsday investigation that surprised you?
No, there wasn't, in part because we've done investigations like that with pair testing. In our case, it was rental, but we had very similar responses where the real estate agents would treat in our case, African-American testers differently from the white testers. Tell the African-Americans that there was no availability for rentals, and then the white testers, they would gladly show them the vacancies.
That's what you found also in investigations that you conducted back in 2012, which led to
2 successful lawsuits. One was in Nassau County and Mineola, that was 2014, and then the other was in Comac, which is Suffolk County, that was 2016.
Oh. Now, you recently testified before a Senate hearing that was convened after the Newsday investigation to deal with this issue. And there's a moment in your testimony where you made it clear that this is not an abstraction for you, that this is very personal. Talk about that. How is it personal for you?
Well, it's personal because I wasn't living in New York at the time. I was in Massachusetts. But I was discriminated. I was at that time looking for an apartment, and the agent was very nice to me and told me, oh, the apartment that I was interested in had been taken. He offered to make arrangements for me to see another apartment. When I went the next day to see the other apartment, it was more expensive, and I saw that it had vermin. Mm-hmm. And I found out what had happened. I mean, I was young. I didn't know what I know now. But I found out because a white person inquired afterwards and was told that it was available. And he then gave me, I challenged him. He then gave me some cock and bull story.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the most sinister aspects of this kind of discrimination, which is that the victim seldom realizes or finds out that he or she is being discriminated against, correct?
Yep, that's right. Mm-hmm. Most people would never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You take the word of the agent. When the agent said that, oh, I don't have that, but I have this, you think, oh, okay, they're trying to accommodate me. Yeah. But it is devastating. Yeah. And it was not only personally devastating, but the fact that they were going to charge me more in another building, and I saw the little creatures running around.
Oh, right. Well, listen, your organization, Erase Racism, and the Fair Housing Justice Center issued a 5-point plan to address housing discrimination on Long Island in conjunction with the Newsday expose. For the sake of time, can you briefly summarize the 5 points or just give us the key points that you're proposing?
Well, certainly we talked about the licensing process for agents. And these are the gatekeepers to the communities. And right now, our system is broken. If you try to find an agent who's lost their license, you won't find much. Yeah. Because the Department of Licensing Services really hasn't been doing anything, and there's no explanation for this. So that system needs to be fixed. Also, there is the system of fair housing enforcement, which is a different agency. That's the Division of Human Rights. And they do not have a robust system of enforcement. A lot of cases are dismissed, no probable cause.
And for the sake of time, let me interrupt and address that, because clearly the Newsday investigation, and I had a discussion with the individual who directed it. I mean, it was clearly very, very expensive to conduct for a newspaper to do it. But if law enforcement had the capacity, had the resources to conduct consistent and systematic, pairing testing all the time, and real estate agents knew that it was coming, wouldn't that go a long way in solving the problem?
Absolutely. Right now, if you're a real estate agent, you know that you won't, very likely you won't get caught. And even if you do, I believe the highest fine is like $1,000, which is not much more than a slap on the wrist. So it does matter that we don't have the robust either enforcement around realtors and their behavior, or the fair housing enforcement, which would help individuals who have been discriminated against. And at the root of all of this is the need for systematic pair testing, because that's the way to really root out who's doing the discriminating, because all of the victims usually don't know.
So you've been critical of the federal government about what they've done or what they haven't done. Could you quickly tell us what it is that you are, what's the grievances?
Well, HUD is mandated by Congress to actually enforce the Fair Housing Statute. And when the Fair Housing Law took place in 1968, they not only told HUD to deal with helping people get redress when they've been discriminated against, but they said you need to find ways to affirmatively further fair housing, to identify the impediments to housing integration, and to address those issues.
They're not doing that?
And they're not doing that. And the hook was that municipalities would not get funding, which they all want, which they all get from the CDBG money, et cetera. They would not get that funding unless they had evidence that they were affirmatively furthering fair housing. And so the combination of the municipalities not doing what they're doing, the state government enforcement of fair housing, and the state government licensing not working well, we have a situation where there is no justice.
Well, at this very moment, because of the Newsday expose, largely, there's a focus on this issue. What's your gut feeling? Is this a tipping point? Is this issue going to be seriously begun to be addressed, at least in Long Island? I
do feel that something is happening when you have so much attention and people trying to come up with strategies to deal with their end of things. I feel optimistic that we might be at a point where things will really take a turn for the best. All right, Elaine, we're counting on you to let us know if that is indeed happening. Thank you so much for joining us today to talk about this. You're very welcome.